Hey guys, welcome to Tomes. Got a quick one for you today. Recently, I just finished reading a book series called The Bone Witch. Now, I've got some copies in the other room, so I don't have them here to show you. But it's a really cool series. I want to dig into it a little deeper. Audible had it for free, so I grabbed it, and then my wife started reading it, so I got her the whole collection. But Bone Witch follows a I don't even know fully how to describe it. It's basically if you imagine like a geisha, like a warrior geisha, which I mean I don't know a whole lot about geishas, so maybe they are warriors anyway. But it's like a warrior geisha who can do magic. And okay, not unbelievably new in the arena of things that books cover. But what happens is this you have each person has this item called Heart's Glass, and it triggers with your emotions, does all sorts of things. You can control people if you have their Heart's Glass and things like that. And so people who are lovers, they tend to trade Heart's Glass, and it's kind of like a sign of affection. People can steal it. People can take over other people's minds if they control their Heart's Glass. It's kind of a cool little magical trick as you go throughout the book. But what's happening is the main character has the story's told in two parts. It's kind of the present day recounting of the character, and then it's her telling her story. And so she calls a bard out to where she is. So she's in exile, and so she's telling the whole story. And so the story itself, like the book, keeps hopping back and forth between her telling the bard the story and the bard recounting what he saw in present day. And it's kind of neat because what happens is over the course of the three volumes, the two storylines almost run parallel. Like she starts doing some of the same things again. And so it's really neat. But what she's trying to do is she's trying to collect, there's these monsters called Deva. Now they're not the same as Deva in our world, but there's these large monsters. Sometimes they're multi-headed. They're kind of like dragon-like creatures, and so she's trying to collect all of them. And so in the past, she's trying to protect people from them, and so she has one that's under her control, and that's really frowned on. And then in the present, she's trying to basically get all of them under her control, and that's like unheard of. Like nobody could ever do that. And so that plays in. It's kind of neat. And so she's kind of in and out of the Deva's mind as she controls it, and she's learning that there's this evil sect who are also trying to control the Deva and trying to kill people and stuff. And so it's kind of interesting magic system. It again, it's all based on that Heart's Glass and some of the things you can do with that, and then you've got these Deva hunters who are involved, and so they go out and do their thing. And so she's basically learning to be this warrior geisha, but in the process, she's also unique in that she's a bone witch. And what that means is that she can bring back the dead as long as they're willing. And so it's the whole inciting event, which is kind of hinted at in the back of the book, so I'm not spoiling anything. The inciting event is she accidentally brings her brother back from the dead, who was killed by a Deva. And so he's there being buried, and she just has this emotional breakdown, and in the process, she accidentally unleashes her magic. Her Heart's Glass turns dark, and she brings her brother back to life. And so she and he share a mind, so they can read each other's thoughts. And so there's that plays out throughout the whole book. And so she's trying to do stuff to bring him back to life. And there's a process that she has to follow to do that. But she's also uncovering all these conspiracies and other things. And so it's a really neat story. Again, it's told across 3 volumes. And basically there's these more or less 3 evil agents that are working against her, and so she kind of takes down 1 per book, but there's a little bit more to it once you get to the end. So I'd recommend it. I will try to do a more proper review of the book as we go forward, but the book itself, the reason I would cover it here on Tomes is it is an absolutely beautiful book. Go take a look at any of the copies that you can find online. The Bone Witch is the name of the series, and it's really cool. So I recommend it. It's kind of a neat book. We'll dig into some of the themes, some of the things that I wouldn't recommend about the book as we go forward. But again, it's a neat book. Again, I haven't said this in a while on my book reviews, but just because I review a book doesn't mean I necessarily condone everything in it. And so there are some things in the book that I would be like, be careful. Just be mindful of those things. And so really any book that I recommend, I'm going to throw that out. So guys, let me know. Have you read The Bone Witch? Have you dug into it at all? And hopefully you enjoyed it, but let me know what you think. And guys, I will catch you next time here on Tomes.